large MNC bank as a senior technology manager, and I'm also certified data scientist. I have more than 20 years experience, and last 3-4 years I'm working on the data science and big data field. So why I'm saying that because if you want to do a career change to the data science or any other field, the age will not be a limitation. That's what I'm trying to say that. Okay. So let me show my presentation. Let me share my screen with you.
Okay.
Giri, can you share? Can you give the presentation mode to me, if you don't mind? I'm not able to click the presentation mode here.
Yeah. I'm Lalita. Actually, I'm pursuing masters in Harrisburg University. I'm a fresher.
So you are okay. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the moderator in the call, or you left Giri?
No, see, I made you the presenter, but both the guys, you are not given your name, so I'm little confused to whom I should give the presenter rights.
It's
actually,
so where to give the name? That's what I'm trying to find out.
yeah.
Now you got a credential. Now you got the rights as a presenter.
It's saying I need to add certain extensions.
Just give the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing that. Yeah.
Please continue the introduction.
I didn't get you, Giri.
I'm also looking for how to give the name.
Yeah, okay, no problem, Lalita. Okay. Now please continue with your introduction.
Okay. I'm Lalita. Actually, I'm pursuing masters in Harrisburg University. I'm a fresher.
Good. Yes. So do you have any background in IT or technology, Lalita? If you don't mind, if you can.
Yeah, I have a little bit idea in SQL and Android, and I'm not much more knowledge in programming. So that's the reason I'm giving.
Okay, SQL is more than enough sufficient because the SQL will be the foundation for the data science.
Okay.
So, are you able to see my screen, Lalita?
Yes, yes.
So, I'm going to talk about, the data science for next 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm going to explain what the course is actually going to taught you. How we can interact each other, and what are the features for the data science, what are the various aspects of the data science. Okay, so data science is nothing but it's an emerging field. Probably I won't say it's an emerging field. It is there for last 40 or 50 years in a different format. But they coined the data science word probably around 4, 5 years or 7 years back. Mainly, if you look at the software, we have various products like we are talking about ERP or CRM, UI product, Android like apps and everything. But data science is what it is going to take the data. Nobody gives the importance to the data, but data has a lot of the thoughts and what is going to happen in the future based on the past history. So data captures all this the underlying the truth about particular event or particular aspect and come up with the data product. If you look at the example like a fraud detection, correct? How people can identify the fraud detection is based on the past events happen. If people do this kind of events or this kind of step, it will lead to a fraud. Credit card fraud or loan fraud or something like that. So data science really about to study the data in a much more complex way and find out the patterns coming out of the data. So you cannot find out by looking at the data saying that, okay, this is the pattern is emerging, but there are a lot of scientific model like statistical modeling and a lot of visualization techniques which will work on the data and come out that the implicit decision making skills. So data science is about the data, data mining techniques and applying the statistical modeling on the data and bring out that feature with a little bit of, what you call the confidence level, or, we call that, 90% accuracy level, saying that this will happen in the future. So always there 10% of chances it may not happen. That means the data is not studied properly, what's underlying concept. So data science is going to be a future. Every company uses data science in some format. We are interacting with those companies day in day out. If you look at Amazon.com or Facebook.com, the Amazon, whenever you go and buy a product, it will, in the bottom it will list out recommended products. Okay, you purchase something on this particular day, and the people with a similar age, similar profile, they purchase this kind of product also. So you always see that kind of the recommended list from Amazon. The underlying concept is Amazon studies the patterns of users and comparing with the large set of users buying, having the similar kind of profile, what they bought, and they recommend it back to you. Have you experienced, Lalita, like whenever you did that that kind of purchase in Amazon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the underlying concept, again, the data science. And again, if you go to the Facebook, based on your tweet, what you post on the data science, it will classify whether the customer is happy or sad. You go and do your, you purchase something, you are not happy with the product or the service. You go and vent out your anger, happiness in tweet or, in Facebook. The companies or the service provider responsible for the particular product will study all the tweet and the comments you're putting down, and take the action, necessary actions. They will follow back to you what happened really, why you are not happy. So even the companies are studying what kind of tweet you are typing it, whether you're happy or sad, or you are. So based on this, they will take a lot of actions. So all the underlying concept is coming from data. So data is everywhere. It's not only in a rational database. You have the text, you have tweets, you have Facebook, you have the pictures. Everywhere the data is there, and data science is about bringing value out of the data. So
Yeah.
are you clear about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what the slide talks about. Data science is is a science. It's a science and art, I can say, because sometimes you need to apply your your skills to do some kind of data mining, visualize certain things. So the data science is the thing, but it's a combination of various skills together. And it's not only limited to the programming, but it's limited. It's all about your programming skills, your statistical background, your machine learning and visualization techniques. All these techniques will apply into the data. We collect the data, we clean the data, and we try to apply some kind of modeling and bring out the results. Why I'm saying, because without data, there is no business will exist. Every business has some kind of data. Probably the data will not be 100% accurate. It's not clean data. So when you are doing the data science, a lot of your time you are going to spend on cleaning the data, because we always say garbage in, garbage out. If your data is not proper, whatever statistical modeling or assumption you are going to apply on the data will not be a correct assumption, or will not be a correct model, and it will lead to a wrong decision making, or it will lead to a wrong conclusion, and the business will not be happy. Agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so the data science, using these all the technique, we are talking about, one side is statistical modeling, one side we are talking about computer programming like R, Python, SAS, Java. You can take any programming skills you can apply into that concept on the data, clean the data, visualize the data in various format. Visualize means I'm talking about various type of graphs, we can find out. Because if you look at the data, you cannot find out some kind of concept by looking at the data. But if you put in a graph format or visual format, you can understand how the data is growing, how the data is, giving the direction to the, whatever assumption you are making it. So one of the important concept of, the data is always visualize before you take any decision or any query. At the end of the data science, you are going to give a data product to the, the end user or customer or the business users, so that you can take an action or a corrective vision based on the data. So always, the data science start with a business problem. It goes into various stages of, cleaning, visualization, and applying, the data science or machine learning model, and finally communicating that, what you find out from the data to the business users, and giving some kind of suggestions back to them. And that's where the entire life cycle stops. I'm stopping here for a few seconds. If you have any questions, you can give it back to me, Linda.
No, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Okay. So when I talk about data science, the skill set are required. It's a Venn diagram. It's a combination of various skills. So the data science professional should have a mixture of all the skills, not necessarily expert in all the skills, because math and statistical knowledge is required, but we don't want you to be an expert, because the mathematical concept underlying the statistical is very hard to understand. Even people with a lot of PhDs, they do a lot of research. It's very difficult to understand those kind of skills. But you should know, some bit of the maths and statistical, like mean, mode, and some bit of the various concept like Bayesian theorem, hypothesis theorem. Those things you need to understand. So the course also will explain a little bit about the statistical concept. We will not go into the underlying math in depth, because that's very hard to understand.
Okay.
Okay. Hacking skills means we are talking about the programming skills. We are talking about various computer programs to understand underlying data, how you can fine tune the data, how you can operate the data models. So we are talking about various computer skills like Python, R, SAS. These are the leading data science tool available in the market. There are a lot of upcoming tools like deep learning. We are talking about TensorFlow, which is coming in a big way, but it will take a long time to understand. That's from the computer hacking skills. And subjective knowledge is required, because at the end of the day, you need to understand the business problem. If you're working on financial sector, or if you're working on healthcare sector, you need to understand what kind of data you're talking about. You need to understand, then only you can write proper programs. If you're not familiar with those kind of expertise, when you're working on data science project, you need to have somebody in your team who should have that kind of knowledge. Otherwise, it's very difficult to turn this business data into the technical data.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's also important. So it's not one skills. That's what I'm talking about. You should have, when you're working on data science project, either you or somebody should have these three skills. Then only we can do a successful data science project.
Okay.
Okay, but some of the skills you can acquire over the period of experience. That's also very good. You can understand much better.
Okay.
Okay. The next slide, we are talking about the life cycle. Life cycle of a data science project. If you look at any software industry, or any even the manufacturing industry, there are various life cycle or various phases that particular project will go through. If you look at a software project, we are talking about gathering the requirements, then design, develop, build, and test, and moving into production. Similarly, in the data science also, we have various life cycles. Okay.
Yeah.
The data science issue or problem always start with a business problem. So no science project or data science project will start without any the business problem. So you need to understand what you're trying to solve. What is the exact business issue happening on the ground? Maybe Amazon is saying that I'm not able to recommend the proper product to the the users. my turnover is very less or something like that, or people are not giving a right feedback in Facebook. That will be the underlying, the business problem. So business will say that, okay, yeah. You have any questions?
No, you continue.
Yeah. So the business always will come and say that, my products are not selling properly. Can you find out what is the problem? That's the starting case for, doing any data science project. So once you understand the problem, then you know what kind of data you can collect. Right? If Amazon is saying that, I don't my recommendation engines are poor, or the Amazon or Netflix, saying that in my movie recommendation not getting to the user properly. So you can know that, what are the data to collect. You need to get all the orders from the Amazon. What are the ads you are showing at the bottom. You need to collect all the the users who place the orders. So like that you can collect the data.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the second phase. So when you collect the data definitely will not be in proper shape. There will be a lot of gaps, a lot of the fields will be missing, or the information will be missing, and the 70% of the people in the data scientists will spend a lot of time on the phase 2 and phase 3, because that is the hardest challenge and available in the ground level. You need to collect the data and you need to prepare the data. So there are a lot of understanding that data visualization, applying these skills are required in the step 3 and step 4, because this is the base for any data science project. This is where your data will be looks neat and ready for the next stage of the project, which is called build model. And 70% of your data, your entire project timeline will be spent on preparing and cleaning the data. You need to make sure that the data is ready for going into the next phase. Okay, so you need to have a skills like SQL, and you need to know how you can apply the transformation, how you can create a new fields from the existing fields, how you can there are a lot of values will be missing or empty fields, how you can fill the data. So those things is important. Every field should have value, some kind of value, then only you can apply the model. Always remember, it's a garbage in, garbage out. If your data is not correct or data is not perfect, whatever model you are applying, it will be giving a wrong output to you. It will not be perfect, and business will not see a value from whatever you are suggesting it. It's a very, very tedious job to clean the data and make the data is available to a perfect format. That's what important. Are you getting it, Lita?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so don't get overwhelmed. These are things. By going through various experience, you will learn all this technique. Since you know all the SQL, you are in the right track.
Yeah.
So building the model is all about applying the machine learning concept over the data to find out various the hidden truth about data, the hidden secret about data, and find out, okay, this what exactly the data has some kind of value. Okay, once you find out the truth underlying data, you will be evaluating the model. How good your evaluation is, how good your model is. Somewhere you need to test that model, correct? Whether whatever I'm assuming, what I'm predicting is perfectly all right in a unknown set of data. Once you evaluate and you are satisfied, okay, my model is working great, then only you can communicate back to the business. And these skills are also very important. Many people I find out, they are very good in technology, but they don't know how to communicate result back to the business, because business will not understand, your software knowledge or the model, what model is talking about. You need to convert the output of the model to the business value. The step 1, identify the problem, and step 7, you are going to give the solution to the problem in terms of the business language. That's most important step. Around 10 to 15% you need to spend on communicating your result back to the business users in a proper way, and they have to take the action. That's where your role stops. Whether business taking action or not, that's not our problem, because they will have a lot of other issues in terms of budget, constraint, everything. You need to revert back to the business. Okay, this is what your problem, this is what happening, and this is a solution to you. Whether you are implementing or not, that's leave it to them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Actually, in data science, there is a programming wise side, or what? It's manual.
There are a lot of programmings involved here, Lita. Collecting data will be, sometimes a manual, or sometimes we will be getting the data from, various sources. Correct. You will be collecting data from, Amazon, you will be collecting from, your enterprise, RDBMS software. But, all the data has to be related together. And somewhere you need to build up the relations. So when you're merging the data with the various data sources, there are a lot of computer programming involved. Your SQL knowledge, your integration knowledge, your R or Python knowledge will be coming into picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So. Okay. Any questions before I move to the next slide?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So in terms of the data science tools, this is a top 10 tools as of 2015. I think still is valid for 2017. So if you look at the primary softwares we are using is R, SQL, and Python, and like enterprise software like SAS and Spark also coming into picture. But why I'm saying R and Python is very famous is a open source softwares. And a lot of community and researchers are contributing to R and Python. They are building a lot of packages, small packages, which can be downloaded into software, and you can use it without much intervention from your IT department or somebody else. So it's very easy to use both R and Python. It is available. There is no cost involved. And a lot of statistical packages, you don't need to code into R. They are readily available in R and Python. Only you need to choose right method, right parameters, and all the models will be 1 or 2 liners, not more than that. So that's why the R and Python is very famous. All the complexities of your statistical and mathematical model are hidden by these packages. So you should know only, okay, I need to supply these 3 parameters to this model, and the model will find out all the underlying patterns of the data and everything. It will give output back to you. That output you need to understand how to interact or intercept those output to take a business decisions. So R and Python SQLs are the primary skills for data science. And we are going to teach the R and the SQL. Probably many people are aware of the SQL. So you can choose either R or Python. Both the language gives a similar, the statistical model or data science algorithms to the developers and the data science community. Any questions, Elika?
No.
Okay, so I'm moving to the next slide. So next slide is talks about the various top 10 algorithms primarily used by the various industries. I classified into 4 categories. One is supervised learning. And the supervised learning we have both regression and classification. I gave some kind of use cases, like in the regression we talked about various models like simple linear regression, multiple regression, decision trees, and random forest. These are the algorithms we'll be going through in a class. I'll be explaining what is the underlying concept, how we can code this concept in R, and how can collect the data or intercept those results and communicate back to the users. So we'll be going through the various algorithms in R step by step. And the third column which talks about what are the various use cases application which we can use for those algorithms. So in the previous slide, I talked about what is the business problem. So in the business problem is nothing but a use case. Somebody saying that my credit rating is so poor. So that means you are going to take one of the algorithms to understand what exactly is going on and going to suggest some kind of better model to them. So these are the the business problems are where you can use these kind of algorithms in a real life scenario. That would be really helpful for to find out. If you look at Amazon, how they are recommending products to the end users, you can go to the last one. I'm talking about unsupervised learning association rule. It's applying this concept of a priori rules and collaboration filtering to suggest some kind of product to the end user based on their search, based on the what item they purchased in the past. It will suggest, okay, you can buy these items for your use. So we are calling as market-based analysis and recommender system, which is applying to the underlying algorithm called collaboration filtering and a priori rules. Any questions, Lalita?
No.
Are you clear, or you have some doubts in your mind?
Yeah, I'm clear. So we can use the algorithms and use cases in the particular data science, or?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So.
Okay. So what we're going to do in the data science, we'll take one kind of data, like example, I'm giving a store has some issues in terms of recommending product to the end users. So we'll be selecting some data from the any particular store, and we'll be applying these concepts like collaboration filtering, priori rules to give suggestion back to the stores. Okay, this is what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you go to any shops in US, like they'll be placing that items in such a way that if you're buying a egg, you'll buy even bread. So they'll keep egg and bread next to each other. So they will find out, okay, which are the items when users buy this one, they'll buy that product also, so that they'll keep all the product nearby. That's
Okay.
one part of basket-based analysis. So if you go to electronic store, if you're buying a speaker, they will keep the DVD player or TV next to the speakers. It will be closer to that one, so that when you're buying something, you will not walk down to probably 15 meters to buy another product similar to what you're buying. If you want everything next to each other so that you can see and visualize.
Okay.
All the techniques come from either recommender system or the market-based analysis. If you're applying a loan, when you're applying a loan for any education purpose or housing loan, they collect a lot of data, like what's your age, salary, from where you are coming from, what's your background. Okay,
yeah.
All this information will be collected, and they'll apply that the regression model or classification model on top of your data. Already data will be there. They collected probably around 10,000 customers or probably 1 million customers, and they built up the model. Okay, this is my credit scoring model. Okay, so the credit scoring model will say, okay, if the customer is female, she's earning around 50,000 salary or less than $50,000, she's unemployed, don't give the loan. Something the model will tell you. So when yeah, go ahead.
So they can enter the data manually, right?
Yeah,
and manually and automatically.
Correct. So when entering one data about you, so they take a decision, okay, whether I can give a loan to Lalita or not. So they will enter the Lalita's data, like your age, qualification, your salary, from where you're coming, how long you're staying in US, everything they will enter. Okay.
Yeah.
This input will go into the the data science model. Okay, the data science model already built from the existing record. You have around 1 million record the company collected, and build up the model. This information will go into the data science as an input. The output will come. This is a risky customer. This is a good customer, and they will take it to give a loan or not.
Okay.
So the model is built from the the past history. You are the future. Okay, your data is future. To give a loan or not, they are going to take a decision. But the model is going to use all the collected information for the last 10 years, 15 years, by giving various loans. That some loans are turned into bad, some loans are good. So those information will be used for the data science model, and the model is ready with them. You are just the
Okay.
input. So you have to take a decision on this particular, Lalita, whether I want to give a loan or not. This is the data. Like, we'll do all the, astrology in India, correct? So
Yeah.
by this data, okay, you are a good customer, you are a bad customer.
Yeah.
To make the decision, the data science will understand all the 1 million record, find out various patterns, and come out say, okay, there are various combination. Give the weightage of salary to this much, and she might be a good customer. It will turn out to give a decision. Okay, give a loan to Lalita, but don't give a loan more than 50,000 or 60,000. It will pop out.
Okay. So once they enter the manually, then they will store in the data science or the DBMS or whatever, right?
Yeah, see, they will store it in whatever RDBMS, because loan giving software will be a day-to-day, procedure for them. So they will have their own RDBMS. So they will
Okay.
enter the data there, and they will make a call to this data science model, through API or some other model. Okay. So this model will give the output. Okay, don't give the loan. The customer is very bad. The rating
Okay.
is only 400 points or 500 points. So they will have cut off. If it is more than 700 points, give a loan. Otherwise, don't give a loan.
Okay.
So for Lalita, if the score is 500, they'll say no. For somebody else, if the score is probably 750, give a loan.
Mm.
So that kind of, the prediction or future value it will give to the customer. Then,
Yeah.
the business will take a decision and it will be a transaction. So next time, once they're given the transaction, the record also will go into the existing data science model.
Okay.
Okay. So the data science model is upgrading. It's not a one-time activity, because based on the data value, it will predict the future again and again. If you're doing something today, it will get the data, and the data also included in your future model, because tomorrow something will turn into bad.
Okay.
So there are a lot of maintenance required in the data science model. You keep on, every 3 months or 4 months, you need to fine tune your model, because you will get data every day, correct? So according to the situation, the economy is changed, lifestyle is changed. Some of the data you collected today, you think is a good, tomorrow it will be a bad also, because economy is changed. Example is 2008, when entire economy of US burst into recession, correct? So that time the economy is bad, situation is bad, some kind of new patterns are emerging. So data science will find out, constantly updating their model every 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Okay. So all this algorithm, we'll be going through in a class, step by step. We'll be giving a small use case. We'll explain the concept. We'll explain the output, how to make a decision, etc.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm moving to next slide. This is one of the page. Once you learn the data science concept, you can also go and practice in a real world. There are a lot of online, where they're giving a lot of competition to the data science. One of the examples is Gaggle.com, which gives very a rich experience in terms of predicting the data science algorithms. So you can go and participate and enhance your skills, because any skills which we are going to learn, it will be a continuous process, and you need to practice a lot to make yourself master. I'm still participating in a lot of competition there, even though I have years experience, but some of the competition really good to understand, apply your knowledge. It's more like a community. You can interact with a lot of practitioners around the world. We have more than 4 lakh practitioners worldwide that are participating in this competition. So it's a really good platform to explore your skills and get more experience.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the last slide, once you acquired all the skills, you want to get certified yourself, so that you can, project yourself in terms of what the skills you possesses. So there are a lot of companies giving the data scientist certification, which is really worth in the market. So I'm listed around 3 or 4. I'm an EMC Square Data Science Associate. But there are Microsoft is giving data science professional certificate. Cloudera also is giving a data science certificate. And the last one, the CAP professional, which is more about the process you are going to follow. It's not talking about any particular technology or or a platform like R, Python, SAS, but as a professional, what are things you should do? So the CAP is probably I can take top of all these certification. If you go to PMP certification, PMP never talks about any tool. No, it talks about what are the various processes you need to follow. So the informs is all about what the process you need to follow in the data science. It only talks about you need to do this, you need to collect this information, you need to follow this template, etc. But it never talks about any algorithms or any tools like R, Python, Azure. It never talks about. It talks about only the process. If your process is perfect, you can use any tools. So with that, I'm stopping here. Do you have any questions, Lilita?
No questions.
Okay. So I'm just giving a small example. Like R is open source, which you can download and practice, with the help of initial guidance. So R is a nice tool to start with. That's what we are going to go through in the course. The top 10 algorithm, which I mentioned, we'll be going through a step-by-step walkthrough with a sample data set, and an experience in a real life. How you can do the similar learnings in your computer.
Okay.
Okay. So with that, I'm stopping my presentation. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Or if not, I'll hand over back to Giri.
Yeah.
Giri, with that, I conclude my presentation. Thanks, Lalita, for participating. If you have any questions, you guys still time to ask me.
Thank you so much. Nice meeting you. And yeah, thank you.
Sure. Okay. Giri, over back to you. I'll stop my sharing. I'll hand it over back to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Lalita. Have a nice day.
You too.
It's a Friday night. I know it's very tough. Yeah.
No. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks for joining, Lalita, with us.